If you're standing in your kitchen staring at a pile of coffee gadgets and wondering whether you'll finally get a machine that actually does the work for you without having to become a barista overnight, this is the moment you've been waiting for. You want something reliable, easy to live with, and worth the money, not just a product with a long feature list. You've probably heard the hype about fully automatic espresso makers, but you also know that a fancy screen and a dozen buttons don't guarantee a smooth morning routine. The real question is whether the KitchenAid KF6 can fit into a busy household without turning your countertop into a maintenance zone. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you first unbox the KitchenAid KF6, the first thing you notice is the solid metal-clad housing. It feels heavier than the typical plastic-cased machines you see on store shelves, and that heft translates into a sense that the unit isn't going to wobble when you tap the brew button. The design is clean and stainless, which means it will blend with most modern kitchen aesthetics. But the real test begins once you start using it daily. The biggest barrier many buyers face with fully automatic machines is the learning curve. KitchenAid tries to flatten that curve with a touch panel that lets you pick from 15 preset recipes, everything from a simple espresso shot to a latte macchiato. In practice, this means you can walk up to the machine, press latte, and walk away while it grinds, doses, extracts, and steams the milk for you. For a family that needs coffee on demand, say, a parent juggling work-from-home calls and a teenager needing a caffeine boost before school, this convenience can be a game changer. The automatic smart dosing ensures you get the right amount of coffee grounds each time, so you won't end up with weak espresso because you didn't measure it yourself. One of the practical strengths I've seen while testing the unit is the removable bean hopper. It twists off easily, so you can dump out stale beans or clean the compartment without a screwdriver. That's a small detail that saves you from a messy bean spill that often happens with machines that have fixed hoppers. The 2.2-liter water tank sits underneath the unit, keeping the footprint relatively modest. You can fill it once in the morning and have enough water for a full day's worth of drinks, which is ideal if you're entertaining guests or running a small office kitchen. Now, let's talk about the milk system. Instead of a built-in milk frother, the KF6 uses a separate milk hose that you attach to any container you choose. This gives you flexibility. You can use a glass pitcher for a latte, a stainless steel jug for a cappuccino, or even a small thermos if you're making a single serving. The hose runs through a dedicated milk compartment, keeping the milk separate from the beans and water. The downside is that you have to remember to clean the hose after each use, otherwise, milk residue can build up and affect flavor. If you're the type who forgets to rinse off a milk frother after a quick cappuccino, this could become a minor annoyance. Another practical consideration is the machine's size. While the stainless steel front looks sleek, the unit is a bit deeper than a standard drip coffee maker. If you have a tight countertop or a small kitchen island, you'll need to measure the space before committing. The footprint is not a huge problem for most, but it's something to keep in mind if you're already juggling appliances. From a performance standpoint, the machine's automatic grind and dose system does a decent job of delivering consistent shots. The espresso extraction is neither overly bitter nor too watery, which suggests the smart dosing is doing its job. However, the rating of 3.7 out of 5 stars from a relatively small pool of 29 reviewers indicates that there are some mixed experiences. Some owners have reported that the machine can be a bit slower when switching between different drink types, say, moving from an espresso to a milk-heavy latte because the system has to recalibrate the grind and temperature settings. If you're looking for the fastest possible coffee fix, you might notice a few extra seconds compared to a manual espresso press. Who should buy this machine? If you're a coffee lover who enjoys variety espresso, cappuccino, flat white, and so on, and you appreciate the convenience of hitting a button and letting the machine handle the rest, the KitchenAid KF6 is a solid choice. It's particularly well suited for families, small offices, or anyone who wants to avoid the tedious grindo-stamper routine. The durable metal housing also means it can withstand the occasional bump in a busy kitchen. If you already own a high-end grinder and prefer to control every variable yourself, you might feel constrained by the automatic approach. Who should skip it? If you have a very limited countertop space, the deeper footprint could be a problem. Also, if you're a minimalist who hates extra parts to clean, especially the separate milk hose, you may find the